It's been an ongoing disaster for the worldwide leader in woke, ESPN. Not only did ESPN create this disaster, they're also vastly overpaying for it. Over the last couple of months, ESPN has been brutally criticized for their substandard coverage of the NBA. Well, I don't know if substandard is a strong enough word because ESPN's coverage of the NBA, it is the drizzling shits. Coverage of the NBA playoffs, embarrassment. Doris Finals, disastrous. When Doris Burke is your lead analyst for the biggest series of the season, you have got a serious self-created problem. ESPN's coverage of the NBA draft, it can only be described as a huge embarrassing failure. But the thing is, the substandard NBA coverage, it is not the only problem at the network. For the better part of a decade, ESPN has been unable to create new stars. Well, Uncle KC, that's not true. What about Mina Kimes, Mo McDougal, Molly Karam? These women are not only trailblazers, these women are huge stars. Yeah, let me ask you something. How many of these trailblazers have their own show at ESPN? I'm not talking about some doofus podcast on ESPN's YouTube channel that generates dozens of views. I'm asking, how many of them have their own show on the network? Due to their inability to create new stars, ESPN has shifted their strategy to buying established stars. They spent over $80 million for Pat McAfee. They recently bought the rights to the Rich Eisen show. This inability to create stars, it also put ESPN in this position to where they felt forced to overpay for Stephen A. Smith. Me personally, I think Stephen A. deserves the money. He's carried the network for the last 10 years. For the longest time, he was proud to be ESPN's highest paid parent. He was willing to say and repeat whatever woke garbage that ESPN wanted to be repeated. He was appearing on SportsCenter. Stevie was working major UFC events where he proved countless times that he has no idea what the hell he's talking about. I thought Stephen A. Smith deserve the money. But two things can be true at the same time. Stephen A. can deserve the money, but from ESPN's perspective, he can also not be worth the money. And I'm starting to wonder if ESPN has a bit of buyer's remorse with this $100 million contract they gave to Stephen A. Smith. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the main channels in the description below. When you give someone $100 million, expectations will naturally be different. One of the reasons the Mavs traded Luka Doncic, they were not willing to pay him $70-80 million a year. Luka being out of shape at $30 million, fine. Luka being completely useless on defense at $40 million, who cares? But when you're talking about $70, $80, $100 million, expectations are going to be different. Think about it. At ESPN, there are no expectations for Molly Karam. No one gives a shit what Molly Karam is doing. Show up, host the show, and try not to be insufferable with your constant interruptions. Same thing with Monica McDougal, Ken Perkins, Mina Kimes. These people are replaceable. If ESPN replaced Mina Kimes with ChatGPT, ratings for NFL Live would remain the same, or whatever the hell they're calling that show now. But when you're making $20 million a year instead of $2 million, when you receive a $100 million contract, expectations are going to be different. And I'm wondering, if ESPN is regretting their decision. To my knowledge, ratings at First Take have declined since Shannon Sharp left. Hey, it's me, Shay Shay! Now, some of that is seasonal. Ratings normally decline during the spring and summer months, but there's no denying the fact. The grown man who calls himself Shay, he had a big impact on the show. A couple of weeks ago, Stephen A. Smith was busted playing solitaire during the NBA Finals. His contributions, or complete lack thereof, they have been heavily criticized during the playoffs. His shtick has become predictable. He screams, he yells, he tells athletes to stay off the weed, he gets into verbal altercations with NBA players, but the biggest problem, and this is something that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, this is something that Charles Barkley originally mentioned. I think the biggest problem with Stephen A. Smith, overexposure. 5 days a week on First Take, 3 days a week on YouTube. Soon he's going to have 2 new shows on satellite radio. Damn near every day he's appearing on other platforms. News Nation, home of Chris Cuomo. Hey, it's me, Chrissy C! Bill O'Reilly, Patrick Bet-David. The last 2 months, he's been on ESPN from morning to midnight. General Hospital, Law and Order. You got to remember, he's being paid to analyze sports. Yes, Stephen A. Smith is mainly an entertainer, but there's still an expectation for Stephen A. to know something. How in the hell can you possibly keep up when you never have the time? I'm only making 3 videos a day, 3 topics a day, which equates to probably 40 minutes of content. Trust me, it is a grind. Sure, Stephen A. has a team, but he's the one on camera. He's the one behind the microphone. He's on live television. There's only so much a team can do. The problem is, ESPN has got to get a return on their investment. Instead of doing the smart thing and giving viewers a break from Stephen A. Smith, ESPN is doing the exact opposite. They are giving Stephen A. more work. Just last month, ESPN announced that Stevie will be a critical part of their NFL coverage. Outside of making fun of the Dallas Cowboys, which is always entertaining, but outside of that, what could Stephen A. possibly contribute to NFL coverage? The NFL coverage at ESPN already sucks. You already have Mina Kimes sedating half the audience. Why don't you get people on television who actually can provide value? It's gotten so bad with Stephen A. Smith, his pretend friends in the media are starting to turn on him. Awful announcing Nick Wright, the proud owner of the worst hairdo I have ever seen in the media. Nick Wright makes people envy the hairstyle of Joy Reid. His pretend friends in the media, though, they are starting to turn against him. And the thing is, Stephen A. really has minimal impact on ESPN's ratings. First Take typically averages around 500,000 viewers. Stevie is making Sean Hannity money while delivering a quarter of Sean Hannity's audience. Like I said, 2 things can be true at the same time. Stephen A. Smith can deserve the money because he benefited from a situation that ESPN created. Perceptively speaking, he had all the leverage. He was their only star. But it's hard to see how ESPN does not regret this decision. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys on the main channel.